What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I wanted to talk about the fallout and the overhang from the exploit that happened with the Voucher LP and what we're kind of looking at here in terms of the overall impact. Now, we can't capture everything because we know a lot of cards were probably bought for super cheap because vouchers became super cheap for a minute, right? We had over, I think, like 2 million or something printed. But we have now kind of hit, the dust has settled. We've hit a little bit of an equilibrium here. And what's interesting is that vouchers are actually back at 1 penny, which is more than what they were before the like the transfers to Hive Engine ended, right? I know voucher prices like drifted, above like maybe a dollar, or sorry, 1.5 pennies, but that was simply because people couldn't sell, right? I couldn't sell my vouchers anymore every day, and so people could only buy on Hive Engine. Essentially, the supply was just getting lower and lower and lower because anytime somebody would buy and then send in game, you could no longer get that back out there, right? So the supply was just dwindling. But before that, we were down at like 0.007, 0.008, right? And to see us now at $1 actually shows that, voucher value is somewhat, more significant, high or significantly higher. Now, the thing is, I'm also taking a look here because we can see there's 13.6 million vouchers. And I believe we've seen more than that get purchased so far in terms of voucher burn. I think it was like 1.3 million, and that's based on the print rate here. So let's just go real quick to promos and then comment, and we're going to look at mana awarded. Yeah, about 47,000. So yeah, when I was calculating this, I was like 1.3, 1.4 million vouchers. We were at like 14.6 million. So keep in mind that this number still needs to come down actually a significant amount because a lot of vouchers ended up going into the LP and a lot of vouchers ended up getting burned. But because of those printed vouchers, we will be waiting for the team to take out probably 2 million. So I don't want to say that we're at 11.6, but that's kind of like the rough estimate. Actually, it's not even the rough estimate because I think it's only like 1.1 that the team brought out. So we'd probably be closer to like 12.5. And what I'm using for that is this API link that the team sent out, right? So 1.16 million is the voucher debt that's owed. It looks like other things were covered based on what the team had, right? So that's where things are at. Now, in terms of like where we're at from like at overhang, right? So you're seeing now that Mana Warden is being sold for 22 cents when in order to purchase it from the shop itself with vouchers, it's at 30 cents, right? 30 vouchers at a penny each is going to cost you 30 cents. So right now, nobody's going to be burning vouchers because you can get it for significantly cheaper here. And that's exactly what happened, right? People got the card for super cheap, and now it's essentially on the marketplace for significantly less than whatever the voucher price is going for. So, at this point, if you have 30 vouchers, you should sell those vouchers for DEC, right? and then just purchase it off the marketplace at that point. Even though you're taking a 10% hit, it's still going to be worthwhile because this looks like it's 70 or like 67 or 70% or so we'll call it. Now what I wanted to do real quick, and this will hopefully be a little bit of a bright spot. So anything that's under 30 cents, and I'm going to try and highlight everything that's under 30 cents. I did it earlier today. Let's see how many BCX we have total, right? So here, all the way up to 29. There is a total of 1674 BCX. It's 847 cards. It looks like we actually have probably some max level cards in here as well, right? So wherever that ends up being the case, let's see, max level. Yeah, so you have like for example, you have 2 max level cards here that are 23 cents per BCX. So if we just go to all, right, of what we're looking at, 1674 BCX is what we need to eat through. And when you think about that, that's 4 maxed copies of this card. It's not much, right? When you consider the fact that I'm sure there's more than 4 people out there that want a max copy of this card, but that is where it stands right now. And then we would essentially eat through all of that and get to where the sales are higher than 30 BCX, or sorry, 30 cents per BCX. Now, again, what we can't capture is the sales that have already happened, right? So how many people, either took advantage of this or took advantage of the cheap pricing that would have essentially bought vouchers, or sorry, bought using vouchers, but maybe then sold their vouchers on the secondary market and decided to buy off of the marketplace here. But as it stands right now, I'm recording this about 2.5 days after that whole fiasco. 4 max copies. It's not too much, but again, it's everything kind of adds up, and I'm sure the frustration is definitely real for a lot of folks that were affected by this. But that being said, it's not insurmountable. I do think that there is probably a bit of a stain on the first launch of the voucher shop. That again, I think it's going to be a bump in the road, and I'm not trying to. Investigator does a fantastic job. He owned up to it, and he's trying to figure things out on the back end. But Investigator does a ton of stuff. I'm not trying to give a pass, because ultimately, this is something that they needed to get right, and they didn't. But at the end of the day, I think it could have been a lot worse. And hopefully we're getting to a point here where we'll be able to overcome this. And whether it's this card or the next card, we will start to eat through that voucher supply. But as I was saying earlier, just the simple fact that vouchers are now at an equilibrium price higher than what they were before this voucher shop, well, that shows that the use cases are there. And my guess is that, I think the card is actually pretty good. I've used it maybe once so far. And I think that it has a lot of value in terms of being able to add shield to a ton of different units. So we'll see how it impacts the meta, especially with a bunch of other promo cards. And of course, the Rebellion reward cards that just went live. But ultimately, I think it will be a card that people will find desirable. I'm not saying that vouchers will go to, the moon here, but my hope is that we will see more of these cards get purchased. Again, once the overhang is eaten through, anybody who wants these cards is going to go through and start purchasing with vouchers, because there's nothing else. And if we have to wait, right? If we have to wait for the next one for people to get super excited, that should hopefully, fingers crossed, come out sometime in December. So it's a couple of months away. Every 3 months, I think, is a good cadence for the team to launch, a new card here, which is exactly what the proposal was. But, it'll keep things fresh and exciting and spicy. And if this card doesn't do it, hopefully they can up their game a little bit for the next one. And, folks will come in and burn these vouchers. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.